if you're a Flutterflow user, you may be getting ideas from a service called Dreamflow. And this is from the people that make Flutterflow. I haven't used it. I'm going to use it for the first time right now. And what it is a service from them that bring your ideas to life and build deployable cross-platform apps in minutes with Dreamflow. So essentially, we can put an AI prompt in the box, send message, and the AI will create us an app apparently in minutes. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I've never used it. As you can see, I'm on the free subscription. I've got no projects. This is literally my first time using it. I've just signed up to it. I thought, well, I'll give it a try. Now, I'm not absolutely convinced by this, if I'm being honest. They've got some examples, the community showcase, AI health app. I'm not convinced by that. They have a good idea, but that's a completely different thing. I'm going to do a game, which I'll come to in a second. Then a count to 5K, project manager, all kinds of things that apparently you can do with this. So we'll start a new project. So I am going to try and build a Tetris app, because if you watched any of my videos, you may have seen the one where I built an 80s style version of Wordle on the screen now if you want to go and have a look at it, and you can go and download the project completely for free and play with it if you want. So I've kind of got this 80s gaming thing going on in my head right now, so I am going to go with Tetris. So let's create a prompt and see what happens. Okay, so here's my prompt. That's what I've done. We need a Tetris style game. Just briefly what the game does, although hopefully the AI will know what Tetris is. Basically, that's dropping shapes, not drop-on shapes. The user will score points and the speed of dropping shapes will increase. They're the controls we're going to use to rotate and move the blocks, and then we want the colour scheme to be that. Whether that's sufficient of a prompt for this to be created, I have absolutely no idea. So let's click and see what happens. Okay, so this is obviously the essential OpenAI interface, essentially. So it's just obviously a wrapper for that, which I kind of expected. So that's all it's thinking. What's it doing for us? Project setup, navigation, shapes, and the rotation logic. And you see it's actually generating the files as we go. Okay, so that has spent about 10 minutes or so building that. So it's built all the files, and it's saying that, gives an explanation of what it's done. So essentially exactly what we've asked for, responsive web design and everything else, except, and it says our game is now ready to play, enjoying your neon Tetris experience, except it says app built failed, please try generating the app again. So what can we do at this point? Obviously I don't know, because it's the first time I've used it. We can copy and paste all of the code into VS Code and try and fix it ourselves, but as this has been done completely by AI, and that's probably going to be, I'm going to guess, problematic trying to fix all that ourselves. So all we can do is ask it to regenerate. So let's try that. I think this brings me on to one of the reasons why I'm not convinced by all this, is we've got an error. It says to regenerate it, but we haven't done any of this. We haven't A, coded it ourselves, and B, even if you're using AI to code, if you build it up in stages and you know exactly what you're looking for. So if you're want to build a Tetris app, you start and say, okay, I want to do this, and then you get that work and move on to the next stage. I have done that and it works. And then when things do go wrong, you can look at it and go, actually, I think you're wrong. Can you have another look at that? That kind of thing, or you can just go and change it yourself. But if you're just generating all this and what is probably quite a complicated app, and you're just saying, go and do that and trust it works, clearly it's going to be nigh impossible to find why it didn't work. And then you're just completely relying on the AI to do everything for you, which I do not agree with. I think they're great to use, and I use AI. Here we go, we're getting the app preview again. So it's a very fast way of doing things, but if you're going to completely rely on it, you are asking for these kind of errors, and you're not learning anything. You're saying build this. Now if you could build this and then export it into Flutterflow, and then you can start working it that way, that's maybe something that will work in the future. So let's see if we can get this to work this time round. So basically we have updated the pubspec file, so hopefully that has resolved it. And probably took 2 or 3, maybe 4 minutes for it to do that thinking there, so not long at all. So the whole thing so far, if this works, I'll be amazed, but if it does, the whole thing would have been 15 minutes. So app build failed, please try generating the app again. Okay, so let's give this one more try, see if we can get this to function. So what it did, it only updated the pubspec file. So I'm guessing the answer lies in assets. Let's give it one more prompt, try it again and see if it works. So whether that is actually the error and it's found it, or it's just doing this because I've said to check that, I do not know. So we'll find in a minute. Let's see what the app preview does. I am not holding out too much hope, if I'm being honest. Wow, we have got a Neon Tetris game. That is me of little faith. So let's see if we can play it. So obviously the error was in the where it changed the original pub spec and it put the comments about ensure these are in place. Obviously it just looked to me that that was where the error was, and it was. So that is amazing. So see if we can play the game. Nothing works. None of the controls work, and obviously the blocks just drop off the bottom when they reach the bottom of the screen. So I think based on that we may as well try and get this working. So okay, so here's a quick update. I left this on version 2 I think, and then I've gone from now on version 10, and as you see I'm out of tokens, so I can't do any more, and basically it's still not worked. What's happened is the blocks were falling. I got the controls to work by adding some icons, so that worked, and we can move the blocks about correctly, but they were not stacking at the bottom. They're actually settling on the top of the screen, just off the screen. So, and that's what I've been trying to get it to fix, and we got to version 10 and I've run out of tokens, so I can't finish it. Now, when you download the code option, obviously I've used my 1 million tokens. I don't know how long that's for, but I've used 1 million tokens to build that. Obviously I'm guessing because it's a complicated app, it won't. I've used them quicker than I probably should have done. So obviously for $20 a month, I could actually download the code as well. So if you're going to use this, that's what I'd suggest, paying for it so you can download the code. Then A, it's yours, and B, you can then do stuff with it. So what I did when I was having issues, I actually put some of the other code files through ChatGPT to try and get it to identify the issue, and then I was telling Dreamflow what ChatGPT was thinking with the issues, and then trying to figure it out that way. But basically what's happened is we've ended up with something that is not finished, but this does work depending on your use case. Like I said, CRUD apps and stuff like that, I think it'd be do it pretty easily. I've chosen this pretty difficult, but you can, you know, I've built most of a Tetris game in half an hour or so, you know, and you could create an Angry Birds, you can do all kind of stuff dead easy. So it's definitely worth looking into, but especially if you can download the code, then you can use it again and you can sort of make it more yours. So I recommend you have a go with this. I'm going to sort of have a go with this again. I'm going to try and get this finished off, get it working, and I'll maybe try something simpler as well. Just maybe I've sort of bitten off more than it can chew or I can chew with this. So yeah, so that's Dreamflow. No, I couldn't build Tetris in 15 minutes, but not far off. It came pretty close, to be honest. So I've published it to the web. Like I said, I'll post the link down below so you can go and check out if you can get it to load. I couldn't get it to load every time I tried the web version. So it may work, it may not, but it's worth a look. So, and I've changed it to neon blocks so I don't get myself in any trouble by calling it Tetris. So that's that. Hopefully you found this enlightening. I certainly did. And I'll say I'll be using it again. I may do some more videos on this. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next video.